Sometimes it's best to just leave your dreams aside, unless you want them to break your heart. I have learned the hard way that your dreams dinna go through in this town world. None at all. I tell you that it's best to just abandon them all. Your hopes and dreams mean nothing, and that's the harsh truth. If you have nothing to lose, ye cannot fear defeat. And if ye fear defeat, ye already lost, eh? I was born around Suzuka, and spent most of my youth in there, in the capital. It was a trade city with a massive port where ships from all around Arcus were docked. One of them belonged to my father, a successful merchant. I spent most days with mother, while father sailed away for weeks, and sometimes even months at a time. He'd bring us gifts every voyage, of course. I didn't care for them at the time. Guess all I really wanted was for him to just stay, or let me go with him. However, all of my requests were refused. Until I was 14, that is. The hall was filled with rum, sugar, and fine silks. It must have been worth thousands of minutes. Oh, the things I do for that kind of money. Oh, sailing was not for me, it turned out. I remember how I puked out my guts on the very first day. Disgusting. 'Twas all over my rucksack, my skirts. My God, I felt like I was dying. About 4 days out to sea, the ship was stormed at night, when most of the crewmen were fast asleep. They got at whoever was on duty that night, likely not to raise the alarm. As for the rest of us, they rounded us up, bound us, and threatened us with blades. Ugh, they smelled like unwashed arses and sweat. Blah. To this day, their scent lingers in my nostrils. Else could be me. Any sign of resistance was met with a swift execution. My father, being the fool that he is, got himself killed by making threats. He was a fool. Nothing more than that. He could have bit his tongue. Or at least bothered to employ an escort. A handful of sellswords at least. The ones that were left were pressed into their crew. And so I became a corsair. A buccaneer. I was still a wee lass. I didn't belong there. At least it opened my eyes to the harsh truths of life. As much as I got used to it, it never felt right. Pirating. After a couple of years, the crew was in a mutiny. The captain's gone soft, they said. The rat-bearded bastard. Once he was dealt with, we docked in the Queen's Isles. There I slipped away from the rest of the crew as soon as the sun went down. I doubt they even noticed my absence. I was free at last. But what is freedom when your belly growls and body shivers? It ain't shite, truth be told. I had to do what I had to do, Ye would do the same in my boots. I stole, robbed, and cheated. I hung around with the lowly cutthroats, such as I. The best company that would have me, really. We were all outcasts. At least we were honest about the fact that we'd slit each other's throats for a few measly coins. Blue bloods do it too. They just need a greater sum. I've spent many a night contemplating life. I know. Sounds like a load of deep mints. But it is true. There were other ideas in my mind. You know, for the future. None of that really matters now, I suppose. I stand by what I said. Best to bury all that shit in the nearest latrine. Booze helps me forget about all those childish desires. I will live under trees, not in manors. Apricot tarts and blueberry pies are nothing but a distant thought. There won't be a handsome, tall knight to be my husband. There won't be balls and festives for me to partake in. All there is for me is a bottle of whiskey, and a terrified face on a good day of work, and an execution on a bad one. I've learned to accept it, but is this really who I want to be?